what is the difference between variable speed and uniform speed? I discussed with you two types of speeds in last class. That is uniform speed and variable speed. So what is the difference between the two?
Ma'am, can I say?
Not like this. Who's this speaking? Okay, first I will give a chance to you. Tell. Speak up.
When in uniform speed, when a body travels in equal distance in equal intervals of time, it can be said in uniform speed.
Okay, so
But in variable speed, the distance and time is not equal.
okay. Correctly, she mentioned that is in uniform speed means when a moving object is covering equal distances in equal intervals of time, and variable speed, that is when a moving object or body is not covering equal distances in equal intervals of time, right? So how do we calculate the average speed? The objects which move with a non-uniform speed, how do we calculate their speed? For that we calculate average speed. So I gave you the formula. Yes, Shagun, what's the formula?
Ma'am, we take all the speeds and calculate their mean.
Okay, so we take all the speeds and average, okay. Another way also I told you, yes, Bhagiraj.
Ma'am, total distance upon total time.
Yes, total distance covered upon total time taken. And yes, many of you have given answers in chat box also, like Pranil, Angna, Taslima, Purvi Chen, Nitika, Iti, and that's it. All correct answers, right?
Ma'am, you take attendance.
Who's this speaking now?
Aditya Kumar.
Now in the end, you remind me.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, yes. So now we know two types of speed, that is uniform speed and variable speed, right? Based upon the same context, we have two more different types of motions, and these are, so one is called uniform motion. One is called uniform motion. The uniform motion we say that when a body,
Ma'am, someone mic is on disturbing.
when a body, someone's mic is on, kindly mute it. Yashwini, your mic is on, kindly mute it. Yashwini, अपना mic off करो. Yes, correct. Okay. So uniform motion, we say that when a body is moving with a uniform speed. When a body is moving with a uniform speed, we will say that the body is moving under uniform motion. Or we can also define in the same way that we have defined for uniform speed. That is, or what we can write, the same thing we can copy here, that when a body covers equal distances in equal intervals of time. When a body covers equal distances in equal intervals of time, then this body is said to move under uniform motion, right? And always remember that when we say that yes, Shagun, that also we can write that when a body is moving with a constant speed, or that is another term we have got velocity. When we specify a speed with the direction, we call it as velocity. So if you are writing an object moving with a constant velocity, can also be written as a definition for uniform motion, right? Right? Now here in case of uniform motion, that is generally the normal speed will be the actual speed. Simply that is we have to divide the distance upon time, because here the body is moving with a constant speed. Means, for example, there is a bus which is covering, there is a bus which is covering 10 kilometers in every 2 hours. 10 kilometers in every 2 hours. So its speed will be simply 10 upon 2, and that is 5 kilometers per hour. So that will be the actual speed itself, because it is maintaining a constant speed, right? Okay. Yes, Pranil, that we can go for, but this velocity and all these acceleration terms you will learn in higher classes, so we have not included here. Okay, now next one is, that is uniform motion. Another one is non-uniform motion. Just opposite, non-uniform motion. So here also we can simply write the definition, that is when a body is moving with a non-uniform speed. When a body is moving with a non-uniform speed, then it is referred as a non-uniform motion. Right? So this is non-uniform motion, or the way we have written the definition for non-uniform speed or variable speed, again it can be written copied here, and that will be the same. That is when a body is covering unequal distances in equal intervals of time. When a body is covering, that is, unequal distances in equal intervals of time. For example, now we are having another bus. That bus is covering, as I told you earlier, that in first hour the bus has covered 20 kilometers. In second 1 hour it has covered 10 kilometers. And then in third hour it has covered, say, that is 30 kilometers. So time interval is fixed, we are taking every 1 hour, but the distance covered by this particular vehicle is not the same. So in this case, when a body is said to move in non-uniform motion, always remember we have to calculate the average speed. We have to calculate the average speed, because here the speed is not constant, it is changing with every duration of hour. So do remember, whenever it is about non-uniform motion, we have to calculate the average speed, and that I told you formula already, that is total distance upon total time taken. So here total distance will be, that is 20 plus 10 plus 30 upon 3. So it is, that is 60 kilometer upon 3 hours. It will be 20 kilometer.
20 plus 10 plus 30.
Right? So that is for average speed. So sometimes in exam question is asked
60 by 3.
uniform and non-uniform motion. Differentiate between uniform and non-uniform motion. So first point of difference will be the definition, because this particular is important for examination, because this new type of motion is introduced in your this particular class. So first point will be the definition, that in uniform motion, object moves with a constant speed. In non-uniform motion, the body moves with a non-uniform or variable speed. Second, in case of uniform motion, generally that is the actual speed and the average speed of the vehicle will be the same. But here, in non-uniform motion, we go for calculating the average speed of the vehicle. क्योंकि जो एक्चुअल स्पीड है व्हीकल की नॉन यूनिफॉर्म मोशन में, वो हर आवर में चेंज होती है, यूनिट ऑफ टाइम में चेंज होती है, कांस्टेंट नहीं होती, तो इसलिए हम उसकी एवरेज स्पीड को कैलकुलेट करते हैं, राइट? सो दीज टू डिफरेंसेस यू हैव टू मेंशन, राइट? सो दैट इज अबाउट speed and the two type of motions which we were discussing. Now the next one is that is the different units. It also gives an important question for MCQ and short answers. Units for measuring speed. Yes. Units for measuring speed. Right? Now, what is the basic formula for calculating speed?
Distance by time.
Yes, the speed is equals to distance upon time. Now, what is distance? Distance is nothing but it is a kind of length. I hope you all agree with me. Distance क्या है? आपका एक टाइप का लेंथ है and 6th standard we have discussed that the SI unit of length is meter. Yes, the correct one is meter. And for time, the SI unit is second. So for speed, the SI unit has become
Meter per second.
per second, or we also write it as meter per second, or simply like this. That is the SI unit. So generally in your examination, question is picked up from the term SI unit. 4 units will be given to you, and question will be asked, which one of the following is the SI unit of the speed? So you have to remember that is meter per second, right? But it's not convenient for us to measure every type of distance in every type of speed of vehicle in meter per second. So we have some other subunits also. For example, kilometer per hour. Kilometer per hour. Especially, it is used for those vehicles which are covering very large distances. For example, one bus is moving from one stage to another. So we are going to calculate the speed in kilometer per hour. So in short, we write it as that is kilometer per hour, right? Sometimes we want to measure the speed of some organisms, and these organisms, they don't move very fast. They move very slowly. So for them, we can also use another that is speed, that is centimeter per second. So that is written as centimeter per second. Right? And it may also give in, yes, Imanshi, you're right, earthworm, snail we have. So their speed is measured in the unit centimeter per second. Right? Yes, so Pranil is right only, that is, it depends upon the kind of distance, how a moving body is covering distance in given unit of time. So based upon that, we have devised these many sub-units of speed. In certain questions, you may also came across the units like kilometer per minute. Kilometer per minute. So accordingly, you have to solve the numerical. So from this particular part, you have to solve numericals in your examination. Mathematical problem आती है इस particular part से. So I hope your concept is clear that what is speed, how to calculate speed, how to calculate average speed. So all these type of concept based numericals will be sure in your paper. एक numerical इस chapter से जरूर आता है. Okay, so that you have to make sure that concept is clear, right? So SI unit for speed is meter per second, and these are the other subunits which we use. Okay. So Bhaskar, actually video is not lagging from our side because on screen everything is clear to me and it is perfectly going on. So maybe the issue is from your side. Okay. Actually both are correct, Pranil. You can write in both the way because This is the way when we represent the dimensions. When you go to higher classes, learn how to represent these dimension quantities. So both will be accepted. It's not a problem. So that is about speed till now we are discussing. Now we move on to the another quantity which we have to discuss in the chapter, and that is time. Yes, that is time. Time. Okay. So very often we keep on using this term time in our day-to-day life. For example, when you used to come to school and sit in the classroom while attending your classes, and by chances after science period there is PT period. So many of you were busy in checking the time in the wrist watches. अभी कितने मिनट बाकी है? 10 मिनट में पीरियड खत्म हो जाएगा, फिर हमें PT period के लिए जाना, like that. So we know how to see time from our wrist watches, wall clocks and all that. But how do we define what is time? Let me get it from you. Yes. How do we define time? If I ask you a simple question, what is time? Tell me, what you will write. Don't tell me any cramped definitions. What is coming to your mind, that you have to tell me. Okay, yes, Ekansh, tell. Yes? Ekansh, you raised hand, no?
Yes.
Tell.
Time.
What is time?
Time is the unit which runs continuously. It cannot be, we cannot work on previous time. Time is a thing that when it is lost, it will be lost forever.
Okay. Okay. What Shagun
Ma'am,
want to
distance
add?
upon speed.
Yes, Shagun. Okay, Bhaskar is writing time cannot be paused. Okay. Okay, so some of you have written in chat box also.
Ma'am, distance upon speed.
Okay, Arna Sharma is telling distance upon speed. Okay, that formula you are telling me. मैंने आपसे definition पूछा. Okay, I will accept this. Okay, so Bhaskar is telling time don't wait for anyone. Actually, that's a universal truth. That's why we should all use our time wisely. And time management is very, very important for students especially. So Palak is
Time taken to complete an oscillation is called time period.
okay, that you're telling me time period. But my question to you is, what is time? But it's fine that I got many good responses. Okay, Shan is writing, time is a very precious thing. Okay. Okay. So Bhaskar, I think we already had enough with all these proverbs. Stop writing. Okay, Pranil is writing, it is continuous quantity which runs independently and does not depend on anything or quantity. Okay. Okay, so most of your responses are correct. And if you would have written all these responses in your examination, I would have given you the full marks. That is acceptable. Okay, now I will write my definition. What I think about time is, so can we write that the gap between any two events, gap between any two events can be called as a time. For example, in the school, generally your one period, it is of the time duration 40 minutes. So for first 40 minutes, for example, you have your English period. After that, in the next 40 minutes, you have your Hindi period. Then third 40 minutes, you will have your science period. Like that. So after that is between two periods, we are having just a gap of first and third period, we are having a gap of 40 minutes. So any two events, when they are occurring and whatever gap we are observing between them, that gap can be called as time. That is my definition. For example, we know that sun rises in the morning and it sets in the evening, right? So we say that the time period between one sunrise to the next, we call it as a day. हम उसको एक दिन बुलाते हैं, and now we know the duration also. That duration is of 24 hours, right? So that gap between any two events is called as time, and events can be natural or it can be man-made, or it is based upon the intentions of human beings which we want to create. तो कोई भी दो इवेंट के बीच में जो गैप होता है उसको हम कहते हैं टाइम, राइट?
Ma'am, can I again give a definition?
हाँ, टेल.
Continuous progression between two events.
Okay, yes, that is very also, that is nice one. Continuous progression between any two events. Okay. So Bhaskar is asking if our definition is correct, then marks cannot be deducted. So same I told. But definition means it should be a definition, not a proverb. For example,
मैम टाइम की तो कोई मतलब पर्टिकुलर डेफिनेशन नहीं होगी ना?
yes,
मैम टाइम की कोई पर्टिकुलर डेफिनेशन थोड़ी होती है.
definition means in a way you have to define what you think about time. But when it comes to proverb, it cannot be universally accepted totally. That you are expressing the characteristic that time does not wait for anyone, time cannot be paused. But I told you in the beginning that yes, I would have given you the full marks because that is an open-ended question actually. Okay, so Palak is asking if you don't write your definition, marks will be cut. मैडम ने आज तक कभी ऐसा नहीं किया है. अगर आपके अपने खुद के आंसर्स करेक्ट होते हैं आपको फुल मार्क्स हमेशा मिलते हैं. Okay, so let's move on. So that is regarding time. Now that is for measuring time, we have got a variety of things available with us. For example, we have got that is wrist watches, which everyone is having in our houses. We have got wall clocks to wake up on a particular time in the morning. We have got alarm clocks with us. And in sports we make use of that is stopwatches that can measure that is time up to more accuracy. That is, we can measure the 1/10th or 1/50th of the second also, right? But in ancient time period, okay, yes, so Shagun is writing word clock in a station, that is also an example. But what about ancient people? Those who were living many years back on earth. For example, when we were having this era of kingdoms, जब राजा महाराजे होते थे, they used to rule our country, these kingdoms. At the time, they were not having any time measuring devices as such what we people are having. Yes, so many of you have written some examples in chat box and all these are correct. But question comes, okay, you gave me the example of sundial, sand clock and water clocks. Now question is, that is what gave them the idea to devise such ancient time measuring devices? Okay, so Palak Sharma is writing with stars and suns. Yes, जो पुराने जमाने में किंग्स होते थे उन्होंने ये सैंड क्लॉक, सनडाइल्स और वाटर क्लॉक.
मैम एक वो भी तो था, वो डंडी खड़ी करते थे तो फिर जहाँ पर शेडो जाता था वहां पर का टाइम.
Who is this speaking like that? You are supposed to raise hand. So here that is what these people do. ये जो राजा महाराजा थे उन्होंने टाइम मेजरिंग डिवाइसेस बनाए, एंशिएंट टाइम मेजरिंग डिवाइसेस they made, but the idea basically they got from the nature. इन टाइम डिवाइसेस को बनाने के लिए जो आइडिया था वो उनको नेचर से मिला. नेचर मीन्स they observed some natural periodic events. They observe some natural periodic events. Means they observe that some events were going on in nature and they were repeating after a fixed interval of time. Yes, Vidhan, you want to ask something?
No, ma'am. I want to tell what tools they used.
Okay, tools actually, many of you have already just discussed sand clock, sundial and all that. Okay, but you can help me here. What natural periodic events these ancient people might have observed? कौन से natural periodic events थे? Yes. Tell.
By understanding
Sunrise
the
and
position
sunset
of moon.
shadows.
Okay, first thing, right now I asked the question only from Vidhan, so others will not speak. Yes, Vidhan, kindly repeat your answer.
Ma'am, sunrise and sunset
Okay, sunrise and sunset. Okay.
shadow.
Yes. So natural events, what we observe for example, possible that is
Ma'am,
the gap between one sunrise and the other was called as a day. You observe that sun used to rise in the morning, then it used to set in the evening, and after that they used to get a pretty long dark period, that is night, and after that dark time period, again sun started rising. Again they have got a bright period. So
ma'am,
what
can
they
I
call the time gap between one bright period to another, they called it as a day. Okay. Similarly, they called the gap between one full moon to the other. They called it as a month. Nowadays, we have got the calendars with us, and we know that it is having 30 days. This month is going to end after 31 days. But in ancient time, people were not used to have any calendar, so they used to measure this time period called month with the help of the position of the moons, the phases of the moons, which you learn in our classes about waxing and waning of moon. So full moon, what we say, that is Purnima in Hindi, and new moon, that is Amavasya.
Ma'am,
In first 15 days it may be Purnima, it is full moon. Then in next 15 days it may be that is new moon, that is Amavasya. So by calculating this time कि ठीक है आज particular इस first day पे full moon है, उनको पूर्णिमा है, उनको sky में full bright moon दिखेगा, और फिर ऑब्जर्व करते थे कि धीरे धीरे जो मून का ब्राइट फेस है वो डिक्रीज होता है, फिर टोटल डार्क पीरियड आता है, फिर धीरे धीरे ब्राइट मून का जो पार्ट है वापस से इंक्रीज होता है. सो दे ऑब्जर्व, they calculated and they called that this time period as a month. They called it as a month. In the similar way, the gap between and this, the repetition of a particular season as 1 year. As a 1 year means, for example, they are enjoying one season, say for example rainy season, and after that they notice that after so many months again the same rainy season has come. So they used to calculate, okay, now this 1 year has passed. तो जब एक सीजन खत्म होता था और बहुत टाइम के बाद वही सीजन रिपीट होके आता था, तो लोग उसको कैलकुलेट करते थे कि हाँ आज एक साल पूरा हो, like that. And after that the people came to know that this 1 year is nothing but the time taken by earth to complete one revolution around the sun, and that is equals to, that is about 365 days. That is our other philosophers also told. So these ancient people, they noticed these periodical events in their surrounding, and to manage their daily activities, to manage their time, they devised some ancient time measuring devices. And among these, the most interesting one is the sundial. So first thing that is, I give you 3 examples of the natural events which these ancient people observed and which motivated them to devise, which helped them to devise the ancient time measuring devices. So based upon these events, you may get a question in examination, and generally wherever it is asked, it is placed for 2 to 3 marks. So Shagul, you raised your hand, you want to ask something?
Ma'am, I want to just give another example of event from which
Tell.
that is the constellations coming in seasons, like Orion comes in winter season, so they get
Yes, yes, that's also, that is appearance and disappearance of the constellations. That is also correct. In fact, These constellations were used by people more specifically for checking out the directions. Okay, so that's also can be written. So here there is ancient time measuring devices. Ancient time measuring devices. And here the most interesting one is sundial. The most interesting one. Now sundial, that is this sundial is used to have a vertical blade, and that is fixed on ground. And on ground we used to have the dial of the clock on which hours are marked. So for example, this they have marked a spherical surface on an open ground, and just somewhere in the center they used to have a vertical blade, and this we call it as genome. And here we used to have the marking of the hour like this. Like this. So this used to be the dial. Dial means, for example, रिस्ट वॉच सबके पास है, तो जो आपका फ्लोर होता है रिस्ट वॉच का, जिस पर्टिकुलर सरफेस पर आपकी मार्किंग होती है 1 2 3 4 5 6, okay, so that particular part is called as a dial, right? Now this sundial, they used to measure the time by the position of the shadow. So how these kings used to construct this sundial, what they used to fix this blade, vertical blade called genome, in an open area where they used to get a clear and bright sunlight. तो उनके किंगडम में जो भी ओपन ग्राउंड होता था, वहां पर ग्राउंड पर ऐसे सर्कुलर डायल बनाया जाता था और उसके सेंटर में एक वर्टिकल ब्लेड को फिक्स किया जाता था. Now we know that in a day sun keeps on changing its position, and because of that the nature and position of the shadows of different objects also keep on changing, right? So by checking the nature and position of these shadows, they used to measure the time, right? So for example, somewhere in the morning the shadow is here, and somewhere in the afternoon shadow is here. Like that, by checking the shadow, they used to measure the time. कि ठीक है, अभी shadow ब्लेड से थोड़ा दूर है तो दिन का एक पहर बीत गया, फिर जब shadow change होगी दूसरी पोजीशन पे जाएगी तो दिन का दूसरा पहर बीत गया, right? So in earlier time, these people used to calculate the division of day in these terms called पहर. वो दिन की पहर काउंट करते थे, पहला पहर, दो पहर, ऐसे करके, और जब रात को अंधेरा हो जाता था तो शेडो बनने की कुछ, there was no issue regarding shadow formation, because in early period of time these people used to manage time in a way that in that daytime only they have to finish all their activities, and the moment the sun is going to set and it is going to be dark period, they used to stay inside their houses only and they used to go to sleep, and again the next day very early in the morning they used to wake up, right? And we will just continue more about sundial in the next class, because next class is on roll only, so I have to just wind off. So I am just again asking for
Okay, ma'am.
attendance. बेटा टॉपिक अभी कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ है, नेक्स्ट क्लास में इसको कंटिन्यू करेंगे sundial को. प्रियंका पटेल, वर्षा वर्मा, राजवंश, then from B section Anshika, Bhumika, Himanshu, Nicholas, Rajat Thakur, not present.
मैम एक वाटर क्लॉक भी तो होती थी ना?
हाँ बेटा सब पढ़ेंगे, आई नेक्स्ट क्लास में पढ़ेंगे. Now time is almost up, so I have to sign off. Okay, so you all can also.
Thank you,
Bye
ma'am.
bye.
I think I can.
Thank
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Bye.
ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Bye.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Bye,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye, ma'am.
Yes, bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.